Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the #1 sports podcast, broadcasting Sundays at 9 a.m.-ish in Sacramento, California. Sports Talk 916. Now here are your hosts, Greg Bowl and Coach Greg Barrosi.
Good morning. Again, Sunday. And this is episode number 264 of this little shindig we call Sports Talk 916. Glad you can make it. And we're still ish, but pretty close to 9.
It's probably the smallest ish we've had in a long time.
How's it going, man?
It's going. I am awake and sore as fuck and tired, but we're here, and it's another Sunday morning of shenanigans.
Yeah. So, I don't know if I'd call it a busy week this week, but it was, there's some stuff to talk about, don't we?
There's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. So I have a few things. If you have anything you want to interject, you let me know, because I browsed more of the absurd than the logical.
Good.
Topical. I don't have anything on the Heisman, which I'm sure you have some information on. I don't have anything on any of the Sports Illustrated awards or any of the the recognition that went out for players and stuff like that this weekend. My stuff is more oddball, let's just talk about it kind of stuff. So if you have real sports news, you let me know, and we'll
you have the Raiders news?
I don't have any Raiders news.
So breaking news on Sports Talk 916.
Hold on, wait, you got to tell me these things.
I believe it was Jason Lockenfora that came out this morning and said that, shocker of all shockers, Reggie McKenzie will not be back as general manager of the Raiders next year.
He's lucky, basically. Yeah, that's
no, not at all. So, when you pay somebody $100 million, you're going to let them buy the groceries. So, what happened? Well, I don't know if I'm on here still.
You're still on there. Hello. There you are. Yeah, that was interesting. Regardless, let's start with baseball. Major League Baseball. Actually, how was your week? We didn't do that.
It was good. Got a lot of work done. Got some stuff done on a little deal that you and I are putting together. And same old this week. What about you?
Some working. Baby was born on Tuesday.
Oh, that's right.
So
I saw you cracking hospital beers.
Yeah, we had some hospital beers, and
what'd the nurses say about that?
I didn't know about it. Baby was born on Tuesday the 4th, right at 5 p.m. on the dot. Super healthy. Mom and dad are super happy and excited. Their family is now complete.
Nice.
They went home on Thursday, and everything is good. So,
and the birthing unit is fine.
Yep, she's good. She's recovering. Everything is golden. She had her first beer in almost a year on Friday night. We went and saw Danny Tosh.
How was that?
Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. He was great. So it's just, back to business as usual. Now we're getting ready to move and sell a house and sell a second house and
a third house.
No, we're not selling a third. We got 2 houses to sell, but yeah, lots going on. So just staying busy. I learned how to be a landscaper again yesterday. Now I have to do it again today. So.
You got to drive a tractor last week, and this week you're laying sod. You're good.
Yeah, I drove a tractor a couple weeks ago. Now I'm laying sod. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah,
multifaceted.
You're going to be a laborer yet.
Yeah, exactly right. Hey, look, I can add our names to the broadcast. That's kind of cool. Ooh. So now you're too short. Hold on. Drop those back down. People know who we are. There we go. All right, cool. So let's talk baseball. I prefer
to be Ice Cube instead of Too Short, but that's all right.
There you go. Mark says no NFL Today music. What's wrong with you guys? Well, that was breaking news. We'll get to the NFL later. We have NFL Today music. Don't you worry your little head. I'll even make a note right here when I'm done talking these. We'll do NFL music for Mark. There we go. Winter meetings kickoff today, actually, in Vegas.
Today? Yeah.
And lots expected to be going on with Major League Baseball. The Giants obviously have Zarhan Fahidi as their new general manager. He hired 2 new scouts over the week to bolster, I guess, bolster. There you go. The scouting of the front office. Their head minor league scout comes over from the Oakland Athletics, and their pro scout comes over from the Milwaukee Brewers. So 2 new faces, 2 new fresh ideas when it comes to scouting of both the pro and minor level. So definitely,
it's always nice to see management putting money into scouting, because that's really the key to everything is good scouting.
Well, that's your lifeblood. I mean, you don't scout, you don't play. So definitely good to see that. They go into winter meetings. They need to be aggressive, obviously. Lots of holes to fill. There's a ton of speculation about, what they could do in free agency. Basically, the ball drops today. Free agency kicks off today at some point. Right. I don't think Bryce Harper's going to happen. I don't think that any of the big name guys are going to jump off just quite yet. But today's the day it starts. So there's obviously going to be a lot of speculation swirling around Madison Bumgarner. Does a team blow the Giants away with an offer? We talked about it last week. Could there be a possibility of the Yankees' interest in Bryce Harper increasing, where maybe their interest in moving Giancarlo Stanton or someone else increases as well? That's to be determined or to be seen if that's going to happen. But I don't think the Yankees are even going to be a player in the Bryce Harper sweepstakes. I saw a few things today that talked about, they may sign Harper, keep Stanton, keep them both in the lineup, and just put Harper in left field, which would be ridiculous.
Wow.
But and I don't know that would be fair, to be completely honest with you, if it comes to baseball.
Can you imagine that? That would be crazy.
That would be crazy. So
they did 500 home runs,
and then 1,400 strikeouts.
Yeah.
The major speculation right now with Bryce Harper is Dodgers, obviously, because they just spend money like crazy. The Cubs could be a player in the Bryce Harper sweepstakes. But the team right now that seems to be the front runner, in every article I read about hot stove rumors and winter meeting rumors and all of that, unfortunately, not one article mentioned the Giants as being a what's the word I'm looking for? A predicted contender in the Bryce Harper sweepstakes. Now, I don't know if that's just because the Giants are playing everything close to their vest and they want to make sure that they're not going to get outbid. The Nationals came out basically and said they don't expect Harper to sign because their 10-year, $300 million deal wasn't enough, but they're not closing the door on it. So that could still be a possibility for them. And, it's kind of hard to say, but the team that emerges right now, according to a lot of reports, as not only the front runner to land Manny Machado at the same time would be the Philadelphia Phillies.
Right. That's what I heard too.
Now, the Phillies are already super up and coming. They're already looking really good. If they could go after those two guys and land them both, you pretty much just hand over that trophy, I believe, to the Philadelphia Phillies if they stay healthy and figure out a way to play. I still think the Giants could be a player in the sweepstakes for him. It all comes down to Scott Boras. Does he want to be patient and make a deal, to blow the winter meetings apart, or does he sit and wait? Does he wait until January? Does he wait until, late December, right around Christmas time, to make an announcement of a deal? He's kind of one of those, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde guys. Sometimes he's all about it and make it a big name, and then other times he just wants to get that money and doesn't care how long it takes. Sorry, my big old shiny forehead was bugging me.
Gotta bend the bill.
Oh, I don't bend the bills on football hats.
Oh God.
There we go. Whatever.
Much
So yeah, so it's going to be interesting for sure to see where those two guys land. I don't think that. I mean, as apparent by what's already been going on, Josh Donaldson became a Brave. The Mariners have basically traded everybody. So the season already started.
I think one of the biggest pickups this week, and probably one of the biggest this season, is the Cardinals picked up Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that here in a second. So, the D-backs trade Goldschmidt to the Cardinals, gets him out of the division, which I mean that pretty much seals the deal that Tim Lincecum has to come back to the Giants at this point, because that's the only reason why he doesn't pitch anymore is because Paul Goldschmidt hit him out of the park every single time.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, like I was trying to say is, it's apparent this year that it's not going to require that big signing in order to kick off the offseason. Now, this offseason has hit the ground running, as opposed to last year where everything was just so slow and just drawn out and boring. I'm not sure that there was any moves or any even signings other than like role players last year at the winter meetings.
I don't think there was at all. Remember, we sat around going, what's going on? None of the big names are signing.
Yeah, we're waiting for somebody to sign, and we talked about it because there's so much more money this year in the offseason than last.
Right. And it wasn't really until spring training had started.
Yeah. Even later, honestly. But yeah, so the D-backs, like we said, traded Goldschmidt. There's rumors now that they're also shopping Zach Greinke. And Greinke has a 15-team no trade clause list that he can veto trades to one of these 15 teams. I'm convinced that somebody told Zach Greinke that his no trade list that he built was teams that he wants to go to, not teams that he doesn't want to go to. Because his list is ass backwards like you've never seen.
Really?
So ideally, if there's 30 teams in the league, if they say, give us a list of 15 that you want a no trade clause veto power to, you would pick teams like, like the Marlins or Tampa Bay or Oakland, like all these like low end teams. Let me read you Zach Greinke's no trade list, his veto list. You have the Orioles, the Red Sox, the Reds, the Rockies, the Tigers, the Yankees, the Athletics, the Padres, Giants, Cardinals, Blue Jays, Angels, Dodgers, Twins, Phillies. Why would you not jump for joy if any of those teams tried to trade for you? Why would you even want to have to veto one of those?
Does he not want to make the playoffs ever?
Right. None of these teams are bottom. Well, I mean, a few of them have been up and down. Like even the Giants have been on this list as a bottom dweller recently, but why would you not want to make a deal to 90% of those teams? That doesn't make any sense.
No, that's weird.
Yeah, so I'm thinking he's a little backwards on that, but
are the Astros on that list?
The Astros are not on that list.
Okay.
I don't see Greinke going to the Astros, but
no, I don't either.
The A's are in dire need of pitching. I saw a list today of their 5 starters for next season, and I've never heard of any of them. There's rumors that the A's have been tapping on the door in New York about the idea of bringing Sonny Gray back.
Yeah.
Back to Oakland. They've been making calls to the Nationals about Gio Gonzalez, bringing him back. Apparently, they just want reunions. They don't want new players. But the A's definitely need to be active. There's also been talks that for the first time in 20 plus years that Zahidi in San Francisco may not be opposed to making a deal with Oakland. He's already basically ruled out making any move with Dodgers. I mean, that's just, that's a given. You don't trade within the division. But the A's and Giants haven't made a trade in forever. And there was some rumblings that the A's may be may have one particular player on a short list of guys that they want for their rotation. That might be Madison Bumgarner. I don't think the Giants would trade him across the bay.
No.
But I mean, you only see that team 4 times a year, and the chances of that being against your old team is pretty low when it comes to that. So It's hard to say. But where do you think? I mean, realistically, with the Bryce Harper and the Manny Machados, where does your gut tell you that we're going to see one of those 2 guys land, or both of those guys land?
I think Machado is a shoo-in for Philly. I think that if they had to pick one of those two guys, they're going to go after Machado. They can always use help in the infield, and his bat's going to be great in Philly. Harper, I just don't know. I could see somebody coming out of the woodwork, a Mets or I don't know, a Cardinals or somewhere like that we're not even talking about yet in terms of being interested in him and have him, because Scott Boras is all about making a big splash.
Yeah,
and he wants his name out there as much as he wants the player. And
I almost think he wants his name out there more than the player, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah. And so for him to say, look, I got you this amount of money at this place, and you don't have to share the limelight with anybody or the spotlight with anybody. I could definitely see him coming out of nowhere and having a team that we just aren't expecting.
Right. No, I agree with that. What about Harper? Where do you think Harper goes?
Well, that's what I was just saying. Some kind of splash.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. I heard a rumor this week, and the Giants were mentioned in this, and that is Yasiel Puig. So there's rumors out there now that the Dodgers are interested. They're tired of his antics, and he could be shopped around. And one of the teams that was mentioned was the Giants, and they talked about it on KMBR with Mike Krukow, who is as stuffy and
he can't stand Puig.
No, that's not.
No, I'm saying like in a normal sense, he can't stand Yasiel Puig,
but he said that he would be overjoyed to have him on the team. His antics he would be able to put up with because he's good.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what we said before. It's we don't like him on the field, but if he became a Giant, he's one of those guys that I would embrace. Yeah. The only hope with that is that you hope that Zahidi has some kind of tie with whoever took over, because the Dodgers aren't hiring a new general manager to make a deal like that happen. But you can't go Bumgarner for Puig. It's got to be lower level prospects or other players. I don't know that the Giants have anyone that the Dodgers would necessarily want. But I read a report this morning that the heat of the idea of a Yasiel Puig trade has diminished a little bit, simply for the fact that he still wants to be a Dodger. Now, if his role were to change, obviously he'd be open to playing for other teams, so that makes him tradable. But the player that they're looking to trade right now, which I don't see a snowball's chance in hell that he gets traded due to his contract, is they're trying to move Matt Kemp. Because Matt Kemp started out the year as hot as anybody in baseball.
Right.
And near the end of the year, he just plummeted down to the depths of hell as far as stats go. But he is still owed so much money from that deal he signed with the Braves that I'm not sure that he's going to be available for trade. So, I would be all for Yasiel Puig in San Francisco situation, put him out in right field. He plays right field at AT&T Park very well. He's very aggressive, which is what you need to be. So I wouldn't be completely against that. John McNabb here says if Bum goes, we need to get back. I'm guessing he meant to say we need to get back a lot. He's still solid, and I agree with that. You have to get something for him. You have to make a splash. We talked about it last week, I believe. We said, what if the Giant, let's say Harper signs with New York and he becomes a Yankee? Do the Giants pick that phone up? Because you got to remember, the Giants last year were in on Stanton, right? They wanted him bad. The Dodgers were also. So Zahidi may have something in his mind where he's like, damn it, I tried so hard to get him. I would love to still have him. I still want to have that notch in my belt that I was able to go out and get, Giancarlo Stanton. Maybe they maybe they work out a deal where Stanton, gets brought to San Francisco and Bumgarner's included in that deal. I mean, and
my position, that's the only way that we get rid of Bumgarner is we have to get like for like. We have to get It can't be a bunch of prospects, because prospects, by and large, don't ever work out. You can't give up your ace, your the only thing you got for a bunch of prospects, because it's going to set you back years.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Now, if it were maybe a year or two ago when the Giants pitching staff was still hot and they were still playing well, maybe you take a little bit of addition by subtraction and you bring in Stanton, for Bumgarner, even in the height of everything, but with some prospects, because it would work. But yeah, it's got to be. I just realized I said that fucking totally ass backwards. If it were like a number of years ago where the Giants have nothing going for them, which could be on the horizon, then maybe you take Bumgarner for some prospects because you're in the middle of a rebuild. But the Giants, I mean, they not
rebuild.
Great,
and they don't rebuild; they reload.
Right, exactly. So, it could have been if the Giants were on like a 3 or 4 year run right now where they've been just missing everything and losing 100 games, then you know what? Maybe you move Bumgarner for some prospects, but they're still on the cusp of being in it. I mean, they were in it part of the year last year, and then they kind of fell off. The Rockies are still good. The Dodgers are going to be good. The Diamondbacks clearly are blowing it up, so that I don't think you have to worry about the Diamondbacks next season unless they just go absolutely crazy in free agency this year and reload without rebuilding. But it's going to be crazy. It's going to be interesting to see how Zaidi jumps out of the box. Right. James says, pray that Bum pitches well in April and May to increase his value. Then you got 2 top prospects and more.
No, I disagree with that. Prospects, if you go back and look at the major trades where they've traded people for prospects, it very rarely are you going to come up with, somebody that's going to pay off. It's just you can't trade somebody like that for prospects. You have to come back with somebody good. Let me give you a perfect example. What did the Raiders get for Khalil Mack? Prospects.
Well, they even get prospects. They got draft picks. Not even a name. So you're taking a full unknown. At least with prospects in baseball, you've seen some kind of work,
But it's not like prospects in Major League Baseball aren't like other sports where the success rate of the first round draft picks is not like it is in other sports. It's much lower. So, if you're going to trade him for somebody that hasn't made it yet, you're really taking a big gamble, and you're going to set yourself back twice as long by doing something like that as you would by, if you're going to trade him, getting somebody that's an established star. And I think that's what you have to get.
So James says, are you going to sign him for $30 million a year? Him being Bumgarner?
Sure. I mean, you've talked about it before. Okay, let's trade Bumgarner. Let's have a backdoor handshake that he comes back in a year. So are you going to sign him then for $30 million?
Maybe. I mean, twice as long. You score runs for Bum, you'll win. You don't know yet. Twice as long if he walks and you get nothing. Yeah, I mean, that's the risk that we're running with right now. Is we're all assuming that Bumgarner is going to be super happy with San Francisco, and that he's a shoo-in to re-sign here. What if his patience has run out and he's just being super silent about it, and he comes out and he says all the right things and he's keeping it close to the chest, and he doesn't have to let anyone know that he's unhappy, and then free agency starts and then he just drops the bomb and says, you know what, I'm leaving. And then you have nothing for him.
But one of the things that you talked about last week is that you've heard that he wants to be a Giant for life. So, do we get a hometown discount if we sign him? Do we, if we trade him with the handshake, does he get pissed off because now he's not a Giant for life? He's, there's that 1 year where he wasn't. I just go back and look at the the trades that have involved a marquee pitcher like this, the team that's traded him away has never gotten the best of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where it's tough, but everyone always says the right thing, right? Like everyone always says that, they want to be somewhere for life and they want to do all this other stuff. And, we don't know. I mean, it could just be a thing that he's appeasing everybody. And if you lose a guy like Bumgarner for nothing, then the Heat's going to flip right back around, right? Well, why the hell didn't you trade him? Why didn't you do something to get something for him? So It's almost like a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I agree with John. He is unhappy. I mean, he's got to be. His bread and butter is in the playoffs, and it's been 2 or 3 years now that he hasn't even sniffed the playoffs. So,
Dodger guy comes in and trade talks start. He's not happy. Trade talks were starting about Bumgarner last year before they even got rid of, before they even had Stamion and Evans step down and move aside from the role. So the writing was kind of on the wall with that. And it's just the problem is that they've signed a lot of guys said, they signed a lot of guys these big deals and they're not producing. Adam's right. Le'Veon Bell said he wanted to be a Steeler for life and retire with Pittsburgh. Look at him now. It's just one of those things where you just don't know. And, talk about being set back. Like James says, they have Buster, Crawford, Belt, Cueto, Shark. They have a lot of contracts they have to shed. I mean, only 2 of those I think are bad. Like Buster, Belt, and Crawford, those were still on the lower scale of a max deal. But Cueto, depending on if he comes back from his second Tommy John, that one's big. And then you just got to hope that Samardzija got better. I mean, you just got to hope that he got healthy. I think the one that you forgot to mention on there, James, and it's still a big what if of how he's going to pitch. I think the worst contract of all of them right now is Mark Melanson's. That 4-year, $40 whatever million he got, or $80 million, or whatever the hell they gave him. They gave him some god awful number. He hasn't done anything to deserve that money. It reminds me a lot of a Barry Zito situation where you paid him for the name, but the product never came until the very end. Which I mean, Zito redeemed himself, right? Zito earned it the way he pitched in the World Series, but you just don't know. You never know what's going to happen until that happens, but. It's going to be interesting. I love when winter meetings kick off. I love when baseball season is essentially back, especially when we don't have a lot going for us at this time. The Kings are playing well. Obviously, the Niners are not. But baseball has the shortest off season, and it's the best thing for us. At least in my opinion. Let's do this real quick, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk football, but we're not going to talk NFL football just yet. Hey guys, I'm excited to announce a new partnership with Antonio Pacheco from Folsom Lake Ford. Tony has been my go-to sales guy for a number of years, and he's come on board to bring the awesome sales buying experience to each and every one of you. All of his information is on our website at sportstalk916.com, but if you're in a hurry and you're looking for a new car, give him a call today. Antonio Pacheco, area code 530-218-7069. He will answer all of your questions in regards to the car buying experience, and he is the main guy that I trust in the Sacramento area for all of your car buying needs. Again, Antonio Pacheco, Folsom Lake Ford, 530-218-7069. And there we go. So, all right, football. Actually, no, let's do one more because we don't ever do this one.
If you or anyone you know is thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, they deserve to have someone working with them that not only knows what they're doing, but will explain everything that happens along the way. That person would be me, Coach Greg Baroza of Keller Williams Realty. I have 2 goals. My first goal is to coach you through the buying and selling process, making it easy to understand and as stress-free as possible, which isn't easy sometimes. My second goal is to have fun doing it. Come be a part of my team. Let me coach you or anyone you know through the real estate process. Give me a call at 916-241-8068, and let's talk about how I can coach you through the real estate process. Let me ask you one question. Who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate that I should know right now? Again, that's Greg Veroza, Keller Williams Realty, 916-241-8068.
All right. Now let's talk football.
Cool.
Not NFL, not college, not even XFL. Did you see the news that Ricky Williams and Terrell Owens are starting the Freedom Football League?
Right.
It is a new football league that is, let me just read the way that they explain this on ESPN here. Another professional football league, the Freedom Football League, has been created by former NFL players, including Ricky Williams, Terrell Owens, Simeon Rice, with the intention of reimagining, rethinking, reinventing, and reforming the game as it was announced on Thursday. Williams, appearing on ESPN's Outside the Lines on Thursday, said there were former 50 players among the approximately 100 stakeholders. Other early founders included former NFL players Brian Chamberlain, Jeff Garcia, and Dexter Jackson. The purpose of this league is about community and the development of players, Williams told Outside the Line. In thinking about creating this league, I wanted to create a league that I could have stayed in and been comfortable and really thrived. Let's stop right there.
So in other words,
if you would have been a pothead, you probably could have stayed in the NFL and really thrived. Let's see. The FFL would initially have 10 teams with plans to expand in additional locations. The games would take place during the spring and summer. Let's see. The league did not say when it would begin play, although it did say the first 10 teams would be San Diego Warriors, Oklahoma City Power, Portland Progress, Texas Revolution, Ohio Players. Well, that's a good one. Florida Strong, Birmingham Kings, St. Louis Independence, the Connecticut Underground, and the Oakland Panthers. They mentioned something. I'm trying to find it here. Oh, as for the players, the FFL said it would ensure that they would receive permanent and reliable holistic health and wellness support on and off the field. In addition, the league said it would encourage athletes to address societal challenges and other hot-button issues. So basically, they're taking everything that's a knock against the NFL and trying to implement it into this league to make it more appeasable to players that are basically washed up and old.
Right.
They want to reach out to former players or players that are, what's up, TJ? It's about damn time you showed up. Reach out to players that have been basically exiled. So your Colin Kaepernicks, those team names are fucking terrible. They want to reach out to players that have been exiled. So you'll see like a Colin Kaepernick probably, or at least he'll see an offer. I don't think he'll play. I almost guarantee you that you'll see Terrell Owens suiting up.
Right.
Chad Ochocinco would probably suit up. Right. Johnny Manziel probably would be in this league, coming back from the CFL. Sounds like a women's football league. Yeah, no kidding. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think there's any chance this even gets off the ground? Or does it get off the ground as like a fresh new thing and it lasts a season or two and those players and their holistic benefits and all that only last like 6 months? Like what was your initial thoughts when you saw this?
I laughed. I mean, there's two other leagues that are already trying to get started. And there's probably a lot more money coming from the XFL and the AAFC, AAFL, something like that. Behind them than these guys. There's not enough players to go around. I think spring football is a joke anyway. It's never been successful. It never will be. They're trying, but you can't. The NFL is just a juggernaut you can't beat, and they keep trying to do it in the spring. And the spring, it's been proven that spring football is good for about 2 seasons, and then it just disappears. So, it takes the NFL about that long to figure out a way to get rid of them, and they do it. So, again, this is just another one of those things. I don't see it as being anything other than Ricky Williams being able to grab some headlines for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it doesn't. it doesn't seem like it's gonna. It doesn't seem like. Oh yeah, Tim Tebow. That could be another one. TJ.
He's got baseball going on.
Yeah, he does have baseball going on, but I could see him coming out and trying to do a little extra football. And Adam's absolutely right. And it's not even going to get off the ground with the XFL coming back. The XFL, it's got the fan base behind it already. It's already got the diehard WWE, brethren that follows them no matter what they do, and it's going to have a little bit more. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see like the aforementioned guys that I just said, the Johnny Manziels, the Terrell Owens, the Ocho Cincos. Well, T.O. obviously would be part of this one. But joining with the XFL instead, because it's probably got a little bit more financial backing. It's got a little bit more prowess when it comes to the fan base that's already established. And it's not going to have, I think, the same trouble getting off the ground because there's not going to be a lot of moving parts with the XFL. The XFL is going to be a very closely funded and managed situation as opposed to having 100 shareholders like this one is claiming to have and all these other moving parts. The XFL announced earlier this week on Wednesday their 8 cities. And here's the difference with this is, although they haven't released team names, but I'm willing to bet that they're going to be much better than the 8 or 10 that I just read off. Every team in the XFL is going to be owned by the XFL. There's not going to be ownership groups. There's not going to be, hundreds of namesakes that are coming out to say, oh, no, this is my team and this is my team and, this is my money. Vince McMahon owns all 8 teams, and they're going to play in at least different cities around the nation. And everything's going to be handled in-house when it comes to financials, which I think is going to be critical for the XFL as opposed to this Freedom Football League. The XFL announced their 8 cities. They have Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles, New York, St. Louis, which apparently the Freedom League is going to be in as well, Seattle, Tampa Bay, and Washington, D.C. Which do you think, as opposed, with these 2 new leagues coming around, which do you think has the better opportunity?
So you forgot a league too. There's another league coming out. And that's what is it? It's the Alliance of American Football.
Right. The AAFL or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah. And so the thing that has going for it is it's being run by Charlie Ebersol. And Charlie Ebersol's dad, Dick, was fundamental in building the NFL through TV. And CBS is already going to show their first game the week after the Super Bowl. I was trying to look to see if I could see the teams. Let's see. Bill Polian plans to oversee the league. Former Steelers safety Troy Polamalu will oversee the player side, and former USC standout and executive J.K. McKay will oversee the team side. Advisors include former players Hines Ward, Justin Tuck, and Dick Ebersol. So, and one more thing here, it says the Alliance of American Football represents a fundamental shift in the way we approach professional sports. We believe fans and players are what's most important, so our approach is simple. We've created an alliance where fans and players share in the success of their teams. Does that sound familiar? I mean, it's pretty much what everybody else is saying too.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's enough players to support 3 leagues in the spring. I don't think there's 2. So I don't think the Freedom Football League has any chance of even getting off the ground. I think the battle's going to be between the teams that have money or the leagues that have money, and that's going to be the XFL and this AAFC. And then the key to that is going to be who gets the best TV package. And I got to believe that the TV people are going to take care of their own. I think if you have the choice of being in business with somebody who knows the TV business and is part of the establishment versus somebody like Vince McMahon, who definitely knows the industry, but he can be a pain in the ass when he wants to be. And I think that it's all going to come down to who can get the best TV package. And that's the league that's going to take off first, and it's going to have the best sustainability. Now, the thing with the AFC is they've had their draft already. And the first player taken, and I forget what his name is, was a quarterback who just happened to sign with the Washington Redskins because they need quarterbacks. So their first overall pick is already gone. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of spring football. I think it's I'd rather see arena football take off than spring regular football.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I'm trying to find the list of. I have the cities. As far as it looks like, there's going to be the San Diego Fleet.
Oh, is this the AFC?
Yeah, the AAF. They just have the team name, so I'm just guessing by location. There's going to be what looks to be the San Diego Fleet, which makes sense. You know, the military, whatever. TJ says the Freedom Football League will be aired on Comedy Central. I could agree with that. Looks like the Salt Lake City Stallions. There's going to be a team in Arizona. I'm guessing Phoenix, the Hot Shots. There's a Texas team. It looks south, probably around Houston area. It looks like the Commanders. There is a. It's either in Tennessee or Arkansas or Mississippi. It's like right on the border. I'm thinking Tennessee Express. The state next to that, I'm not sure what state's next to Mississippi. What the hell state is that? I don't know. Iron. The Iron. Then there's the Legends, and then there's the Apollos in Florida. I can click on them. They have names. Here we go.
There we go.
There's the Atlanta Legends.
Okay.
There is the what the fuck? There's the Memphis Express. So it's right. It's in Tennessee. The Birmingham Iron. So it's in Alabama.
I kind of like that. The Birmingham Iron.
The Orlando Apollos, who will actually be coached by Steve Spurrier.
Oh, okay.
There's the San Antonio Commanders. So I was a little bit off on that one. The Arizona Hot Shots. I picked a city. They're just going with the whole fucking state. The Salt Lake Stallions and the San Diego Fleet are the teams in the AAF football league. So yeah, a lot of moving parts. Adam says he's going to go play for the Phoenix Hot Shots. They're the Arizona Hot Shots. Get it right. Damn it.
Right.
Money, TV deals, and stadiums. McMahon has money on a few TV channels and puts on shows in stadiums. Yeah. If anyone has the connection to get this thing off the ground and running, it's going to be the XFL. Vince McMahon has so many ties with so many different venues and locations. And not only that, but he has so many ties with congressional leaders because of his wife and the fact that they've had to make so many like modifications to different laws and things like that to let them host certain venues and different things. Like they have things in Australia, they've gone to Saudi Arabia, they've gone to India to do shows now. Like they have this global experience. Not to mention Vince McMahon has the money. I mean, all this is coming out of his personal money for the XFL, but he has it so tied down right now with WWE that like they go to, let's say, New Orleans, right, every like 4 years for WrestleMania. They have it on lockdown right now where no other wrestling commodity is even allowed to put on shows in New Orleans. That's how tied down Vince McMahon is when it comes to things. So he definitely has the ability to, if he starts to see like a threat come from any of these guys, which I don't think he will, he'll just flex his business muscle and put an end to a lot of them in different cities. I
disagree. I think you guys are underestimating the Ebersol connection.
Sorry, I'm not talking about that one. That one's going to have its own leg to stand on. But the Freedom League or whatever.
Oh yeah, if you're just talking between the XFL and Freedom League, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this other one with Dick Ebersol, it's going to have its thing. CBS is going to be able to speak, volumes, and it's going to make a a big thing. But Vince McMahon, if anyone can go up against the Ebersols and the CBSs, it could be Vince. I mean, he's got enough financial backing and enough power behind him to whatever. And then, if anything, he'll just show up to board meetings and,
Brock Lesnar.
We'll just show up and be like, no, we're going to go ahead and broadcast our game.
Yeah, but realistically, do you think there's enough players to have even a good spring league, let alone?
I do. Because if you think about it, only 3% or 4% of college players get even drafted in the NFL. If they go through and they find those guys that can, that were let's look at Alabama, for example, right? Alabama has a 55-man or 60-man roster on their college football team. They go undefeated. They whoop. Well, I don't know if they went undefeated this year, but they go through and they whoop everybody's ass. And then 15 of those guys get drafted. 16 of those guys get drafted every year. So if these leagues are smart and they hold their draft shortly after the NFL draft, or if they just start reaching out to players shortly after the NFL draft, and even if they were to wait a little bit longer and let the NFL go through their moratorium period where they sign undrafted free agents and they sign guys to practice squads, they're still going to have 50% of these very talented football teams that are fresh off of a season, that are fresh off of their senior year, that are chomping at the bit to continue to play football. And, if they have the money to throw them a little bit of a signing bonus to continue playing, then you may be able to get a good cream of the crop players. And James is right. The NFL will probably expand their taxi squad to hoard more players. But, if let's say the taxi squad makes $25,000 for a season, right? And the XFL or this other league comes in and says, we'll give you guys 50 to play, not just sit around waiting for an injury. These guys are fresh out of college. You don't think $50,000 for 8 weeks is going to be appeasing or appealing to them?
I'm not saying they aren't going to be able to fill the teams. I'm not saying they aren't going to have enough players to create them and have them there. What I'm saying is they're going to be horrible. I mean, it's going to be horrible football.
Well, let me ask you this: let's say you're a backup left guard at the University of Clemson, right? And let's say you're a third string guard and you're the backup long snapper at Clemson. I'm Vince McMahon, and I come up to you and say, hey, you know what? I want you to come play for the San Francisco Demons or whatever team it's going to be. Obviously, the Demons aren't around anymore, but I want you to play for the Demons. I have a role for you. I'll offer you $650,000 for 5 years to come play whatever. Or let's make it smaller. Let's say $150,000 for 2 seasons, right? And then TJ calls you because he's the new general manager of the Cleveland Browns. And I'm sorry, TJ. I don't mean to ruin your life like that, but he calls and says, you know what? The draft is over. We want to sign you to the taxi squad of the Browns or to the practice squad of the Browns. We're going to give you $25,000 for this season, and we're not sure what's going to happen. We have a couple other guards ahead of you, and our long snapper is the best in the league. What are you going to do? You want to play football. They're going to be able to tap into that group of kids that are still in college that absolutely are playing for the love of the game, knowing that they're not going to be a draft pick and they're not going to get the millions and millions of dollars. They're going to have some of those talented kids that just aren't. They're going to get that B and B minus C plus level talent that didn't make it into the draft that could have the potential to do something. I mean, obviously a left guard isn't going to be one of those players that are oh my God, he's the best guard ever. But the James Connors or the Matt Breidas or whatever that aren't drafted that make a name for themselves. There's always that diamond in the rough. Maybe they pull a quarterback from, Barnbaum's not on, but maybe Sac State gets a whole fucking huge run of players in the XFL, and Joe Schmo, quarterback from Sac State, turns it around and maybe he gets a shot in the NFL because of it. There's a lot. I can see the potential in it. You are right. It's probably going to be a shit show when it comes to talent, but there's how many people that play football in the NFL or in the world. they're going to find some good players, and it's going to be someone entertaining. And it may be pure football. It may be the WNBA of football. It's not going to be exciting. It's not going to blow the roof off the place. But if you're a fan of the game of football, like a lot of people are the fan of the game of basketball, and you watch the WNBA, you don't get that showboat. You don't get that one-on-one. You get fundamental team basketball that moves the ball around, and they play the way you're supposed to. You might get pure football out of it.
I doubt it. I mean, you had me up until then. I think what you're going to get is you're going to get the guys who aren't good enough to make the NFL, think that they are, and think that the way that they're going to do it is by me. Yeah, I can see it being completely opposite, where it's nothing but showboaters and it's nothing but people looking out for themselves. I just disagree with you, James. Spring is for baseball. I want to sit back and watch baseball. I don't want to watch football. I mean, nobody watched the XFL. There's been, how many spring leagues has there been? And it hasn't been a destination appointment TV type thing. It's been for 2 weeks, you watch it because you want to see if there's going to be a train wreck. And when the train wreck doesn't come, you find something else to do. It's just, I don't know. If it becomes a success, I'll be the first one to say I was wrong, but I don't think I am on this one. I think both of them are going to come and go. All three of them are going to come and go before we know it.
And I don't disagree with that necessarily, but I think it'll be fun. I mean, springtime is for baseball. You're absolutely right. But how many spring training games are televised? Unless you have the MLB network, you're not seeing them. The spring baseball is read about. You read about it. You see highlights of it. Unless you're going to Arizona or Florida or wherever you're going, you're not watching baseball live. There's that. It's almost like spring baseball is that teaser. Like you get to read everything, you get to see clips, and it just starts to like whet your appetite a little bit until April. If any of these leagues try to play simultaneously with the start of Major League Baseball season, they're fucking retarded.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be in that little bit of a void period where, it's like, okay, there's a little bit going on. There's a little bit of baseball. We get some football. Then we ease our way into baseball, and I think these guys would be smart to have their playoffs around like the All-Star break or something in the summer, like that Midsummer Classic. Have their playoffs come in or their Super Bowl or whatever you want to call it, right around that time where no one gives a shit about baseball because the All-Star break is terrible, and then have a little bit of taste of football, and then right back to baseball.
I don't know. The other thing you're forgetting about is the NBA too.
Yeah, the NBA ends in June, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the NBA is all parody anyways. You want to watch the Warriors again? I mean,
yeah, I'd rather watch good basketball than really shitty football.
I'm not sure, honestly. I'm almost in the spot. I'd rather just watch exciting sports. I don't care what sport it is, but NBA is absolutely boring to me.
I just think that I don't know. I don't think you're going to get the quality of players to get the kind of football that's going to be able to hold people's attention. I mean, we watched the XFL, but we didn't watch it because of the outstanding players. You watched it because you wanted to see what the nicknames were on the back of the jerseys, and that was about it.
I don't know about you, but I watched it for He Hate Me, and that kid was fucking good. Yeah, but he was good.
What's his name?
He Hate Me.
No, but what's his real name? Do you remember?
Can't remember. He played for the Panthers for a number of years afterwards.
Rob Smart.
There you go. Smart, yeah. I'd rather watch hockey than basketball. Yeah, I could rank things that I'd much rather watch than NBA basketball when it's the same damn thing every single year. Anyways, let's do this because it was asked for earlier, and we're going to talk real football. No, wrong one. Wrong button. God damn it, sound guy. Apparently it's a little loud. Sorry about that. Rod Smart, not Rob Smart. See, you don't know anything.
I was close. I missed it by one letter.
Rod Stewart.
Shut up, TJ. Hey, TJ, I'm waiting for that call for you to buy a house. Let's go. Come on.
Tell him Sports Talk 916 sent you. TJ, I'm selling a house. This one. I will make you a fucking great offer, and I'll even put the Sports 916 plaque in there.
Hey. That's my job.
Yeah, but I have to set the price.
Well, yeah, but it has to be reasonable.
$80. It's his. I'm just kidding. TJ, you let me know. An issue will be the spring league will start before college gets out of school. So do you bring players in after graduation?
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of weird shit going on, that's for sure. But let's talk real football. Last week, Packers lose to the Cardinals. Cardinals clearly don't understand what it means to lose games down the stretch when you have 2 wins. They beat the Packers. Mike McCarthy gets fired. According to Mike McCarthy, it caught him off guard. He's apparently the only person on the planet that didn't see the writing on the wall in Green Bay. There's a lot of reports that him and Aaron Rodgers have been at ends for years. Clearly, Mike McCarthy is not going to beat out Aaron Rodgers. You're not going to take McCarthy after 14 seasons over a guy like Aaron Rodgers. So they fired him. I can't remember who the hell their interim coach is, but he hasn't made a play call in the NFL or any type of football since 1999. With like the University of Northern Dakota, Sioux Falls or some bullshit, like some little ass school. But McCarthy's out. Reports immediately started out of Cleveland that they've already started the process of trying to bring in Mike McCarthy to the Browns. Do you think that would be a good fit for the Browns? I mean, for any coach, you're going to get paid. If you're coaching the NFL, it's a good fit. But is Mike McCarthy the right guy to go in and try to turn around Baker Mayfield like he did? Joe Philbin, there you go. Like he did with Aaron. Well, he didn't turn around Aaron Rodgers, but he groomed Aaron Rodgers essentially into what he is today. Do you think that Mike McCarthy would be a good fit for the Cleveland Browns?
Well, anything's going to be better than what they have now. And McCarthy's a good coach. You know, I think that there comes a time where your message just stops being heard. And, you know, unless you're a Bill Belichick who has the power to get rid of players and bring them in, and obviously him and Brady on a football sense are on the same page, you have to step away. And I think that what's going to happen is McCarthy can regroup, refocus, and I think, you know, maybe coming back for the Browns next year wouldn't be a bad thing. I think that a better fit is the Oklahoma head coach. I forget what his name is right now, for Cleveland. TJ,
to bring him back with Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield, yeah.
The other name right now rumored with the Cleveland Browns is New England Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels.
Well, he's already had a try. I don't know. He didn't do a real good job in Denver, so.
No, but he made Tim Tebow look good.
Yeah, for one game.
Hey, one game is better than what the Browns will look good for. So there's a lot of interesting things. I think that Mike McCarthy would actually be good in Cleveland. I think you get an established coach that has a track record. You don't gamble with someone new. Lincoln Riley. So there's a lot of upside to that. Now, let's flip course to Green Bay. You have Aaron Rodgers. You have still a pretty good offense. The defense is up and down, but obviously they have some draft picks. They're going to have a lower draft or higher draft pick this year than they have in most recent years. You still have Aaron Rodgers under contract for a number of years. Do you think Green Bay would be enough to bring a high-powered college football coach out of the NCAA to Green Bay in the name of Nick Saban?
Ooh.
The chance to come in, establish. I don't think has Nick Saban ever coached in the NFL? He hasn't, right?
Yeah, no, he has. He was the Miami Dolphins head coach, and
that's right, for like a year and a half, and then he went right back to college. Yeah. So if you look at it that way, Pete Carroll needed a second chance in the NFL after his terrible run with New England. He landed in Seattle. They got Russell Wilson. Everything else, the rest is history. Do you think that Nick Saban may be tempted, if that job were to become available to him, to kind of come back and reestablish himself as a pro coach. You can't really get much better than coming in and jumping right into the reins of an Aaron Rodgers. You know, he's not going to come back and go to Baltimore or Cleveland or, you know, another team that's rebuilding with a new quarterback. You come in and go, hey, you have a top 3 or top 4 quarterback when he's healthy and on. Welcome back to the NFL. Good luck. You have a pretty good leg to stand on. How do you feel about the idea of that if he were to be it? Let me rephrase the question. Is Green Bay, in their current situation with the potential they have, along with Aaron Rodgers, enough, you think, to lure Nick Saban out of the college ranks?
No.
If he wins, let's say they win the national championship this year. He gets another national championship title. He could go out of the NCAA on top and then slide right into a situation where you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback.
No. And I think that Nick Saban is the wrong person to do that. He's a defensive coach. Green Bay is going to go with an offensive-minded coach because they're going to want to appease Rodgers. They're not going to bring in somebody who's going to downplay the offense. And I think that Saban is somebody who hasn't really. I mean, yeah, he developed Tua, but Tua kind of came to him on his own. He doesn't have a long history of really developing good long-term quarterbacks. I think there's another
develop him though. He already has a quarterback.
Yeah,
you said Tua fell in his lap, and they still put up, an average of like 40 points a game. Sometimes they're up in the 60s in college. That's not all their defense. Their defense is the one. And there's been plenty of games where, they still give up 30 or 40 points, but they've scored 60. It's not a big deal.
I think there's a better name out there than Nick Saban.
Who's that?
Urban Meyer.
I was just about to ask you, do you think Urban Meyer unretires? Because he says he's retiring, but
but he said that twice already, so I'm not buying that. I think
that's another guy that had a pretty. Didn't he coach in the NFL as well?
No, not that I know of.
I'm getting him in Saban. I thought that he was the one in Miami. So
no. I could see Urban Meyer going, and I think him and Aaron Rodgers get along great. I think that
he also made Tim Tebow good.
Yeah, it's true. I think the personality clash between Aaron Rodgers and Nick Saban wouldn't go very far. They're both the same kind of guy. I think that Urban Meyer's more of I think he's a better fit personality-wise to work with somebody like Aaron Rodgers than Saban would. I'm not saying Saban wouldn't do a good job, and I'm sure he would, but I could see Urban Meyer going there before I could see Saban.
What if
I could see Nick Saban going to Cleveland?
Really?
Yeah, they have the basic parts there. I could see that happening. I mean, I don't know. I see it more of a, the Browns are a younger team, and I think that somebody like Saban's personality is going to rub established veterans wrong, where you have a young team like Cleveland, they're just out of college. They don't know any better. And so I think that way, I think that he might be a better fit in Cleveland.
James says Steve Spurrier, but Steve, we've already talked about Spurrier. He's coaching the Orlando Apollos in the AAF, dude. He's not leaving that gig.
No.
Now that's too sweet.
No, and he had his chance in Washington, and he wanted to play too much golf. I mean, he didn't want to put in the hours that you need to put in to be an effective NFL coach. He wanted to play golf, and he was a disaster in Washington.
I say he's an idiot.
It's gonna be one of those things where you get excited about the idea of maybe Cleveland getting back on the map with a new coach, but at the same time, on the next page of your notebook, you're starting to write the eulogy of that guy's career, and you're just like, you bookmark both of them, and you're like, okay, which one are we doing, right? I'm wondering if Josh McDaniels would be a good fit in Green Bay.
That's
He's got a good offensive mind. You don't really have to do much with Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers pretty much calls his own plays anyways. I mean, that was one of the reports with Mike McCarthy is Aaron Rodgers was noted on multiple occasions of rolling his eyes and basically saying, fuck that on McCarthy's calls and calling his own plays down the stretch. So, you don't need a guy to come in and be that offensive mind. That's why I think that Nick Saban could be.
Yeah, but can you see Nick Saban doing or letting that happen? Can you see Nick Saban going, okay, Aaron, you call your own plays. I'll stay out of your way. I
think Nick Saban focuses on building up a defense and getting players to play there. Lets Rodgers run the offense. Saban runs everything else. And you let those two work harmoniously together. Green Bay, if you could get a Saban defense along with a Rodgers offense, that's a pretty formidable team that you're not going to be able to really go up against. And James, I agree with you. As weird as it is,
yeah.
I think that Cleveland is a better job than Green Bay. There's a lot more. Green Bay is established trying to refine their way. Cleveland has the pieces and they're looking for guidance to find that way. Like they're right on the doorstep of finding a program that works and going with it. It's a little backwards from what they're doing at Green Bay right now.
Yeah, true. You have good building pieces in Cleveland. Hell, they've had enough first-round draft choices, top 5 picks in the last 10 years to where they should be great. I mean, the ultimate tank job. I don't know. I think Mayfield is the real deal, and I think that Nick Chubb is the real deal. I think that they have a good core there, and if you bring in a good coach that's going to be able to build them, I think that they need to go offensive with their coaches. So, I know I just countered what I said a couple of minutes ago, but I think if you get a good coach, whether offense or defense, I agree. I think Cleveland is a better job than Green Bay.
All right, let's move over to the actual part of the NFL that matters, and that is the playoff pictures are starting to form. Yeah. Right now in the NFC, you have the Rams and Saints at the top, 11-1 for the Rams, 10-2 for the Saints. The Bears are knocking on the door, 8-4, as far as one of those top seeds. Cowboys as the division leader right now are at 7-5. The Seahawks at 7-5, and the Vikings at 6-5-1. Carolina 6-5. 6-5. The Redskins are 6-6, and oddly enough, Tampa Bay is still knocking on the door as well at 5-7. And then after that, there's no hope whatsoever. You have the Packers at 4-7, the Falcons at 4-8, the Giants at 4-8, the Lions at 4-8, the Cardinals at 3-9, and then the long shot, the dark horse in the NFC to make a late playoff push is the San Francisco 49ers at 2-10. Oscar, we really didn't have any. We didn't have any Sac State basketball talk. We didn't have any basketball talk at all this week. Lots of speculation when it comes to the NFL and football, and so no basketball this week so far. I mean, if Greg has something he wants to talk about in a little bit, we can circle back. But right now there's not any talk. So if the playoffs were to start right now, the Rams and the Saints would have the bye. It would be the Vikings versus the Bears in an NFC North matchup, and the Seahawks at the Cowboys.
I like that.
Yeah, right now it would be a pretty exciting playoff.
Pretty fun first round of playoffs.
And then on the AFC side, you have the Chiefs. Well, let's do this. Who is your team right now out of the NFC? Is it still the Rams?
Yeah. I think the Saints have been a little inconsistent, and the key is going to be who gets that home field advantage. Because I don't think the Rams are going to go into New Orleans and beat the Saints in a playoff game. And I don't see the Saints doing the same in LA. So I think the key is going to be whoever gets that home field advantage.
James, I don't get what you just said. You should. Did you hear that the Menendez brothers are in Mark Jackson's basketball card? I don't get it. Basketball breaking news. I'm not going to play the sound, but Derek Fisher is back in basketball. He is the new head coach of the Los Angeles Sparks.
Wow!
In the WNBA. Today, Raiders and 49ers race for the first draft pick Even if they end in the same record, the 49ers right now will win the tiebreaker due to strength of schedule. So as long as the Niners don't
what
win,
about head-to-head, though?
oh, they did win the head-to-head, huh?
No.
I think it's still strength of. The Raiders fucked up by beating Arizona.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I'm not even sure that the Niners win another game this season. We can look at their schedule, but I think the Raiders and John Gruden pretty much.
I don't think the Raiders are going to win another game this year either, though.
Yeah, so I mean that bodes well for San Francisco. I still think the Saints are the team in the. It's going to be between the Saints and the. I'll have to click on that link on a different side. I still think it's going to be between the Saints and the Bears. I think somehow Goff doesn't pull through. If Khalil Mack can come through and have a game, it's going to be crazy. James says the Niners are going to win today. Who do the Niners play today? They play Denver. At home. Man, I don't know. That one's going to be – I think that game is going to be boring as all get out. And TJ says the Raiders will beat Cincinnati next week. That's going to be an interesting one too. Like I said, I still think the Saints are the team to beat in the NFC. It's a lot like New England. It's hard to go up against a quarterback that's been there and done that.
Right.
And we'll get to that in a second. But I just think that if it comes down to Trubinsky, Goff, or Drew Brees, it's hard to bet against Drew Brees. It just really is. In the AFC, you have the Chiefs at 10-2, the Patriots at 9-3, the Texans at 9-3, the Steelers at 7-4-1, the Chargers at 9-3, and the Ravens at 7-5. So, and that's what I hate about the AFC, or I hate about the NFL playoffs. The fact that the Chargers are a wild card team and they're 2 games better than the Steelers, who are a title or a AFC North, first place. It bugs me. It really bugs me that a better team is going to go on the road, with a better record. But, it is what it is. And then the Ravens are limping into the playoffs in the 6th seed at 7-5. Yeah, the Titans and the Dolphins, Dolphins, and Colts basically knocking on the door. The rest are at the bottom and on the way looking up. So as of right now, the AFC playoffs would be the Chiefs and Patriots on a bye. You have the Ravens at the Texans and the Chargers at the Steelers in the first round.
I think the first round of the AFC playoffs are not nearly as exciting. I think the Chargers and the Texans are going to come through that pretty easily. I think that game, the AFC is going to come down again to the Chiefs and the Patriots.
Now let me ask this: it's the same thing I just said about the NFC. If it comes down to Mahomes and Brady, can you go up against? Can you really? Yeah, the Broncos are still alive too. Can you realistically see yourself going up against Belichick and Brady when it comes to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes?
I think if anybody can, I think he's probably the most underrated coach. I think Andy Reid. I agree. I think Andy Reid is one of the few coaches that can go up with a decent chance to beat Belichick. What's going to kill the Chiefs is their defense. Their defense is horrible.
But their offense can just outscore anybody. I mean, we saw it in that Rams game.
Right.
They gave 50 and they still, were in it.
So can the Patriots, though. The Patriots can score when they want to. They can score with anybody. So yeah. I think that'll be a fun game to watch. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, that one's going to be good if it gets to. And the nice thing is the 2 number 1 seeds. Let's say they both make it. You're gonna get a cold game. You're probably gonna get a snow bowl,
right?
Because it's either gonna be in Kansas City, Missouri, or it's gonna be in New England. Obviously it'll be in Kansas City if those 2 teams make it because of the number 1 seed. But regardless of who goes into the championship game, unless both of those top seeds get knocked out in the second round, we're going to have an ice bowl. We're going to have a fun – and I don't care what 2 teams. It could be Oakland and San Francisco at this point. If they're playing in the snow, I'm watching every snap of that game because those are fun to watch. So definitely a lot of intrigue. Who's your pick in the AFC?
I'm going to go with Kansas City. I just think that I think Mahomes is on a roll, and nobody's been able to stop him yet. and I don't think anybody can, and I think that I can see the Patriots getting beat before they get to the AFC Championship game. I think that they're primed to be upset. I don't see anybody. I just think that the Chiefs can do something that nobody's done in a while, and that's outscore everybody. There's nobody that, except for the Rams, nobody's really able to outscore them.
Is it crazy for me to think that Todd Gurley, if he's healthy, is enough to keep my pick of the Chargers available and alive in the AFC?
Why would Todd Gurley be?
Gurley's been out. No, I'm thinking of Melvin Gordon. I'm sorry. Wrong. I'm thinking wrong team. Damn, LA is confusing me.
Is he on IR or is he just out?
I'm not sure. I'm looking that up right now. I was looking up Todd Gurley for some reason. Melvin Gordon injury. Positive update comes from the Chargers running back 2 hours ago. They're hoping he'll return sooner than later. It's an MCL sprain, so he should be fine. But then they still have Austin Eckler. They still have Justin Jackson as another running back there. So, they have the potential to still be a good force. And I think if it always kind of comes down to veteran presence when it comes to the playoffs. Phillip Rivers, while they haven't been a very good playoff team, Phillip Rivers is one of those guys that if you need if a game's on the line and you need someone to have the grit to get you through it, Phillip Rivers isn't a bad guy to have in your back pocket. So, it's going to be one of those. It's going to be a fun one. Yeah. But let's do this because games are going and people want to watch. So. Right.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm not here to get back in the presidential race. But you never know.
I love it every week.
America needs me. Okay, now it's time for the most luxurious, amazing, incredible picks in the world. Mine. I'll take the Ravens to top the Bengals, even though that doesn't make sense because cats eat birds. I'll also take the Rams to beat the Seahawks, but who really cares? My upset pick is the Eagles to beat the Giants, and my wild card is the Bills to sink the Dolphins.
All right, boys, you heard his picks. Now it's your turn. Greg B, who you got?
All right, so year to date right now, including I'll remove this week's game. So TJ's at 131. He's taken a huge lead in the standings. He's up 10 games on James, who's at 121. He's up on you at 117. My mom comes in at 86, and myself, I'm at 112. So the top three are pretty much locked in. Actually, everyone's pretty much locked in. There's not going to be very much change, except for maybe I could catch you if you have a bad week and I have a good week. And you could catch James. So you could go for second. Hell, I could go for second. I don't think anyone's catching TJ.
No.
Everybody took Tennessee over Jacksonville. I don't think anybody had Chris Henry or Derrick Henry going off as crazy as he did. Chris Henry's not doing shit.
A friend of mine who's a commissioner in one of my other leagues had Derrick Henry sitting on the bench, and he was messing with the other guy that he was playing. So he switched him at halftime and put Derrick Henry in. The guy was pissed, but so was his partner because he thought that he'd actually started Henry and didn't. So yeah,
that's hilarious. Carolina, Cleveland this week. Let me get back to my picks. Carolina, Cleveland. The game right now is tied 7-7. Cam Newton, is Cam playing? I know he has a shoulder.
I think he is.
We're looking at a 7-7 tie. I have the Panthers in this game.
I got the Browns. This is the second time I picked the Browns this year.
Yeah. Buffalo is hosting the Jets. Josh Allen is back at quarterback. He was back last week, so no Nathan Peterman to be scared of. I have the Bills over the Jets this week.
I do too. The Bills' defense has been on fire the last couple of weeks.
And Shady McCoy's been running the ball great.
Yeah, so I don't think the Jets stand a chance.
It's the Eli Mannings versus the butt fumbles in Washington. I have the Giants winning this game. No Odell Beckham Jr. today, though, so their best quarterback is on the bench.
Their best receiver.
Their best quarterback.
Oh.
Odell Beckham's been throwing the ball better than Eli Manning has this season.
That's true. I have the Giants, too.
Thanks for ruining my joke, Dick.
Sorry.
I have the Packers over the Falcons. I think that there's an Aaron Rodgers resurgence today. They are losing 7-0. Matt Ryan just threw a touchdown to Julio Jones. But I have the Packers in this game.
Yeah, I do too. I think Rodgers is going to take over the offense and run it the way he wants to.
I agree. The Saints go to Tampa Bay. The Bucs have been playing great ball, but I have the Saints in this game.
I have Tampa Bay.
Really?
Yeah, I take that. If I could read my own, what I have on here, I have the Saints too. Never mind.
You know that the little highlighted circle tells tells you who you picked, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Chiefs host the Ravens. I have the Chiefs.
I have the Chiefs.
I have the Patriots over the Dolphins.
I don't.
You took the Dolphins.
So fun fact, over I can't remember. Just blanked on his name. Over the last year since what's his face has been. God, why I just blanked on the quarterback for the Patriots.
Brady.
God.
How the fuck do you blank on Tom Brady?
I don't know. In Tom Brady's career in December. I know, right? I'll take that. In Tom Brady's career, where has he lost more games in January or in December? Florida or Massachusetts?
It's Florida.
Nope.
Really?
He's lost the same amount of games in Florida as he has in Massachusetts.
Well, you know they're in Florida, right? They're not in.
I know. What I'm saying is he's lost as many games. He's lost. Never mind. Miami plays New England really well, and
they really
never mind. So forget
Brady
it.
Ken's got your back. Brady has bad luck in Miami.
Thank you.
The Colts go to the Texans. Texans are on a 9-game winning streak. I voted against them last week. That bit me in the ass. The Colts have been playing good football. I'm back on the Texans bandwagon on this game. I see them winning 10 in a row, beating the Colts.
I have them winning 10 in a row too.
The Broncos, who are still in the playoff hunt in the AFC, travel to the 49ers.
I see the Broncos winning big.
I have the Broncos in this game also. I think James mentioned that the Niners are going to win this game, so I believe he has the 49ers. The Bengals go to the Chargers.
I have the Chargers.
So do I. The Lions go to the Cardinals.
I have the Lions because cats eat birds.
That's right. The Eagles, who are still in the playoff hunt, travel to Dallas.
I got the Cowboys. They've been playing great the last.
I have the Cowboys also. I don't think that they lose twice to the Eagles this season.
No.
The Steelers travel to Oakland.
I think Steelers win huge.
By like 8. I'm just kidding. I think the game of the week is going to be the Sunday night matchup between the Rams and the Bears.
I agree. I think that's going to be, is
Trubinsky back?
Yes, he's playing this week.
Because if it's Josh Daniels, I don't give the Bears a snowball's chance in hell.
No, back.
But with Trubinsky playing and Khalil Mack playing, I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to take the Chicago Bears at home.
I'm going to take the Rams, but I don't see it as being I don't see it as being a high scoring game. I could see, 30 to 35 points being scored total.
Yeah, I could see that as well. And the final game of the week is the Monday night game. The Seahawks host the Vikings.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to see the Vikings win, I have the Seahawks.
So do I. So there you have it. I want to go back and check the picks real quick here. I can't see it yet because it hasn't started. I was thinking that if James took Denver or San Francisco, but I can't see it yet. I'd have to log into commissioner mode, and I don't feel like doing all that shit. So there's your picks. My mom's been bugging me all week to see my picks because she showed me hers, and I said, it doesn't matter. I can see your picks anytime you want because I'm the commissioner of the league. You have to wait. That's called driving up listeners. So there you have it. Those are our picks. We are ready for football. I have yard work to do, unfortunately, so that pretty much wraps up. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about? You said there's a lot of things that were out there to talk about. I went on the obscure list. You said you had some stuff. Is there anything else that you wanted to snag on?
Nah. I think not really. I mean, we don't talk college football, so really not much to talk about the Heisman Trophy. I think Tua probably deserved it. I think that
if he doesn't get hurt, I think he wins it.
Yeah. And I think the people that are the most excited about who won the Heisman Trophy is the Oakland A's, because now they can market them having the Heisman Trophy winner in their farm system.
Yeah, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna play football or is he gonna play baseball? I know he already signed a commitment with the A's.
So the commitment with the A's, he got his signing bonus, and he had they allowed him to go back and play 1 year, and now he has to play baseball, or he's got to pay the signing bonus back. So I don't know. I mean, I think, let me ask you this, and somebody was asking this on TV or on the radio sometime last week. If you had the choice and money wasn't the option, well, no, let's even take that back. If you had the choice between being a first-round draft choice in the NFL or a first-round draft choice in Major League Baseball, which one would you choose?
Honestly, I would take being a third or fourth round pick in Major League Baseball over being a first round pick in the NFL.
Well, he was a first-round pick in Major League Baseball. He was the 9th overall. He's probably going to be a mid to lower level first-round draft pick in the NFL. If he wasn't playing baseball, probably a fourth or fifth round, or third or fourth round now that he's got the baseball commitment. But if you were a first round in both, which would you pick?
Like I said, I wouldn't need to be a first round pick in baseball to take baseball over football. I would be a third or fourth round pick in baseball to have a longer career, have a safer career, have a longer future after baseball or after sports. I would take Major League Baseball in a heartbeat over the NFL.
Yeah, I would too. And the other factors are, baseball players make a shitload of money, and the NFL, they sign big contracts, but those contracts aren't guaranteed. So
yeah, I want guaranteed money if I'm going to be playing a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not to mention, there's gruesome injuries in baseball, but not a lot of them are head injuries. And you have a much longer life after baseball than you do after football, period.
Right.
Not to mention, look at who just retired. Adrian Beltre just retired with the Rangers, right?
Yeah.
21 seasons. Unless you're a kicker or
Tom Brady.
A fucking punter.
You don't play 21 seasons in the NFL. You have a little window, and you have to hope that you don't have something that alters your life to the point where you can't go out and be a functional member of society after the fact. Baseball, 99 times out of 100, I will take.
Yeah. I don't know that I don't know if that decision is going to be that easy for him, though, because
he's good. They're touting him right now as the best two-way player since Bo Jackson.
Well, yeah, but I think what I don't know yet is the immediate stardom that he's going to have in the NFL versus if he is a star, it's going to be 4 or 5 years away in baseball. Do you think he can wait for that, or would he rather, go for the glamour right now?
I think if he's a first-round pick, a top 10 pick in the NFL or in the Major League Baseball with the A's organization, he's probably not 3 or 4 years away. He's probably 2 or maybe 2 years away.
Yeah.
The A's, what position does he play for football or baseball?
Center field.
So the A's, other than Chris Davis, they don't have a very deep outfield. So there could be an opportunity for him to move up less than 2 years in Oakland. Or like you said, there could be a situation in Oakland where they need starting pitching, and you can market a guy like him in the farm system as a super athlete, and you might be able to include him in a deal, moving him for someone else.
I wasn't talking about marketing him like that.
No, but I'm saying you could. Obviously the fans, you're going to market him as like this super amazing, dual sport.
The Heisman Trophy winner.
But if this kid's talented enough to be a top 10 pick and excel in another sport, that means he's super smart. He's got the intangibles. He's probably a 5-tool guy if that's the case.
Yeah.
Like let's say the Giants called, right? Or let's say the A's called the Giants and go, "Hey, we want Bumgarner. We have this guy and this guy plus plus our Heisman Trophy winner, who could play center field or right field in AT&T Park. You know, we're going to give a top prospect along with extra, people. Oh, yeah, Chris Davis does play first base, doesn't he? I thought for some reason he was a center fielder. There's a lot of potential marketing-wise because especially a team that's on the up and coming, like a team that's rebuilding or a team that's had a couple down years. You know what? Maybe you bring in that hype and you bring in that marketing ploy to get other people in there. Who knows? The possibilities are endless with a player like that.
I think that he's probably, along with Chris Davis, the only untouchable players in the Oakland system because he's going to put fans in the seats. And the A's don't care about trading for players and throwing in players for whatever. They care about getting fans in the seats. Or at least that's what they should be thinking about.
All 80 of them. Gotta get them.
This kid's going to be able to get their attendance up to at least 36 because people are going to want to see
36 people.
Yeah.
They'll
double their attendance.
Yeah, it sounds good to me. As A's fans, I mean, you got to get people in there. So I wonder if at some point he tries to do both. I wonder if he tries to be a dual sport athlete.
I just don't. I don't think you can do that as a quarterback. I think you can do it as a receiver. I think you can do it as a running back or
maybe he wants to be the first one. Maybe he can go play quarterback for the Raiders and play center field for the A's.
I just don't
know. I think he'd be smart to stay away from football.
Yeah, I do too.
But hey, he's got a fucking cool piece of hardware to put on his truck. I mean, he's not gonna get any World Series titles with Oakland, so he can put a cool ass piece of hardware on his mantle. All right, football's going. We're wrapping it up. This was episode 264. We didn't play Albert Chavez's ad this week, but stay tuned to either later today or tomorrow. I'm going to try to get Albert on for an after hours episode. We're going to talk about those home loan increases, what it takes to get you into a home. TJ, you're going to want to listen if you are looking to purchase a home. I'm going to dig deep with Albert and try to get as much information from him as possible to make a home buying process nice and easy. So be on the lookout on Facebook and on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play for that first episode of After Hours with Albert Chavez, the Mortgage King. So for that, definitely, if that right there intrigues you, before we get to it, check out our website, sportstalk916.com. There's information to contact Albert and Greg there, and we'll bring that information to you soon. But this was episode 264. That's Greg Veroza on location. I'm Greg Bowl. We are out.
Good night.